What is up, y'all? Welcome to the Stop Playing With Me podcast. I am your beautiful, lovely, talented, intelligent, confident, co-host, Kirsten.S. Lewis. And honey, listen, welcome to the party where we are advocating for the underdog in ourselves all 2023 long. Now, I've already introduced me, but I wouldn't be me if it wasn't for he. And he is the one who shall be named. And his name is the Holy Ghost. Honey, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up for the Holy Ghost. Because all I know is a lot of my confidence in today's world comes from him. I want to be very clear. If it was not for him, I would be nowhere near where I am today. And I will give him all of the honor and credit that he is due. And if I got him, and he got me, then honey, stop playing with me. That's all I'm saying. That's all I am saying. But welcome to the party, y'all. As y'all can see, the scenery has changed up quite a bit. And I don't know if y'all have been following me since season one. You know, a lot of the Instagram stuff that I be doing, all you see is my face. You see me snot nose, you see me crying. But now the scenery has switched up quite a bit because the Lord has been faithful. And apparently this is meant to be something a little bit more than I had anticipated. And because that is the case, it has grown closer to my heart over these last couple of months. And y'all are crazy because we were able to grow 2,000 followers and over 1,000 downloads in 2 months. Y'all really down for the get down in this. And so I just want to get another consensus in season 2. Who all is down for the get down? So make sure you share, you download the podcast, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and just let me know who all is on board, who all is trying to get their confidence back to a place of health and wholeness and trying to operate at your optimum capacity. Who's all going down this journey with me? And for, once again, people who do not know what this whole podcast is about, it really is about regaining your confidence and not just boasting in your own abilities, but boasting in the confidence that the Lord has given you. Through him, we live, through him we move, and through him we have our being. And so a lot of times in life, I feel like people have really robbed me of a lot of my confidence because they made me feel like I wasn't worthy or deserving. Or there were times where I felt like myself, I didn't believe that I was worthy or deserving of the things that God has given me, of the gifts and abilities that he's given me. But I'm coming out of that all year, right? So now that all of the formalities are out of the way, I want to introduce a little friend of mine today, y'all. Like I said, this is season 2, so y'all finna stop playing with me, but y'all finna stop playing with my friends too. And this man, my God, has really had my heart from the moment that I met him. And granted, I love people. Let's just be very clear. I love me some people, but this man right here, we could go years without speaking, but I know that his heart will always be in tune with mine, no matter what. And so but quick backstory. So when I met him, I had just moved to Atlanta and I had just joined my local assembly, and we have this thing called, like, community groups, but we call them belong groups at our church. And I decided to lead one, and he was one of the first people that joined it, and one of the main people that stuck around for all of the shenanigans. And every single conversation that we had, he always was able to contribute. He was always able to give his perspective, and not only that, but he has always been a transparent individual. He has always made it a habit of being vulnerable and opening himself up and expressing a whole lot of humility. This is part of the reason why he's on the podcast today, is because I know that he is an authentic man, and he never he never switches up. I've known him for a while, and I know that he's a consistent man. And so I really want y'all to meet him. I ain't gonna hold it. I ain't gonna hold it too much. But y'all, please welcome Torrence Harrell to the party.
Friend. Whew, you all listen. Thank you.
I already told you, but when the cameras are not on, I love you
Listen.
with all of my heart.
You really cooking it up. You really cooking it up. Got me. Well, what my rag? Okay, I got to make sure my rag is by.
My friend bought a rag that matches the set.
Listen, I had to bring a rag because we, like you said, our hearts, are always in tune.
Yeah.
We get deep. We get that thing get emotional quick
without shame.
No shame.
With no
shame.
About it,
y'all gonna get these tears.
Y'all gonna
get
this snotty
vulnerability. Y'all gonna get it. But friend, thank you so much for having me. come be a part of the party. You know what I'm
Of
saying? So,
course.
yeah.
So how do you feel on like being a part of the party? Because I know when we first walked, when I answered the door, you was just like,
You know, my little nerves, because you don't know what to expect,
yeah,
but now that I'm here, I'm comfortable. I feel good. It's just like I could just feel the safe space. I always felt like I had a
yeah.
safe space with you anyway.
Oh, you
So
gonna
to
make me cry
be,
now?
on this podcast, to be even getting the invitation, like,
Mhm.
hear me when I say that thing brought me to tears.
Oh,
And the reason that it brought me to tears is because I know this podcast, it advocates for the underdog.
yeah,
And, we show up and people think we just these big macho people, but it's hard to finally accept, like, who you are and
yeah,
knowing that you are underdog. And so when you sent that, and I was like, wait, me? You know what I'm saying? And God had to really just let me know right then, like, yeah,
yeah,
you have something valuable. You have something
yeah,
to that people need to hear. And of course,
man.
fear wants to immediately set in and just be like, well, no. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this thing scared.
Yeah,
So nerves and all. It's just it's such a this me sitting here is such a testament of just, I had to get a devil a black eye this morning because you know what I'm saying. I'm here, like I'm legit here talking. I always say, I don't like how I sound. I don't want to record
man.
video. But knowing that I'm getting out here in the middle of what I'm scared of and just doing it anyway, you can't tell me God ain't on that. So
Gee,
again, thank you for having me. And that's how I'm feeling this morning. I know when you sent, I know it had to be God. Because immediately I want to be scared. I wanted to be
yeah.
scared, and fear just like, can't do it. I was like, oh no, we gonna do it. I'm gonna set time aside. Had other plans. Oh no, we moving them plans around just because, like you said, when you started. In 2023, stop playing with your friends. Stop playing with that. What we playing for?
What are we
We out
playing
here. What we
for?
scared of?
What do
What
ooh?
are we scared
Yo,
of?
friend, I no, I kid you not. I wrote on my vision board for 2023. Part of it, like one section, of course, was it like lifestyle. One was like, careers.
Right.
And the other one was like, my spirit, like Christianity, my faith. And part of the faith part piece was face your fears
Face
this
the
year.
fears.
And this is part of that, like, because once again, I'm very introverted majority of the time.
Same.
I love people, but my people meter run out.
Listen, and want to run out quick. Listen, it will run out
Literally,
quick.
it will run out mad quick. But I was like, I'll come at you with being a big ball of energy. But once that thing gets
Baby,
on
give me a couple of days.
give me a
to
couple of
regroup.
days. And so I love that because like literally this podcast is me facing my fears, like setting this studio up, though it looks amazing, though it looks great, especially since the last time you've been here.
Yeah.
It looks completely different. This is words. It Setting the studio up was emotional for me because I literally trying to put this stuff together. I told God, I said, "What if this doesn't work out, God?" And one thing I'm not trying to do is build something that I can't follow through on.
My God.
And I literally would have just moments of intense anxiety with the curtains down and everything and stuff falling apart. And our producer will tell you like stuff will be just falling apart, falling down. And I just be like, Lord, what if I can't do this? And he was just like, this, like, you've done this in many different forms and facets of your life. You may not have done it on this scale, but you've always been doing this. Like, so be confident, like stop playing with yourself. You've always done this. So what makes you think I won't be with you now? Don't okay, no, because we jumping in already. So before
put this little rag right here, just
I was saying if I just decide to just use it for myself, that's fine. And so before we get too deep, I actually want to do a little. I mean, the ice already broke, but I wanted to do I wanted to play a little game.
Okay, let's play.
All right. And so this game, if I can reach it, this game is very near and dear to my heart because when I was going through a lot of depression, I was experiencing a lot of oppression and suppression. Like it was all of the Eshens. In my early 20s, maybe 23, 24, I had just graduated from college and I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. And that was the most intense, emotionally draining, mentally draining season of my life. And all I had was my creativity. All I had was moments in time where I could just create. So I wrote songs, I wrote poems, and part of that was I wrote a book.
You was in your bag.
I was in my creative bag. And I also created this game, and it's called Who Is I Am. And it is a game about the many names of God. And of course, with us being like, in our faith, and we love Jesus around here.
Do.
We know Jesus, we know God to be a whole lot of things. He's a burden bearer, he's a heavy load sharer, he's a hard fixer, he's a way maker, but there are so many other facets to him than just those things. And so I created this game because, one, it challenged me in a very, very hard time in my life to seek God in a new way. Yeah. Right? And so I want to play it with you today.
All right, let's play.
Hey, let's see. So pick a card, any card.
All right. This one here, it's got oil on it. I feel it. All right.
Okay. All right. You may get this one, friend. Okay. So the name of God. Okay. So this is how it goes. I say the name of God.
Okay.
And you guess the meaning. And if you're having like a hard time, if you're stumped, then I can give you a clue, which is like a verse. Okay. So the name of God is Jehovah Gabor Milkama. Or Milchama.
Listen, I immediately went in the song.
Jehovah Gabor Milkama.
And the meaning. So let me ask a question.
Okay.
Is it like would it be like a sentence, a phrase, one word, a couple of words?
So it is a couple of words. So I would categorize it more as a phrase.
As a phrase.
Because it's identifying who God is. So if I'm calling him Jehovah Gabor Milkama, then this is the Lord this. This is the Lord who is this, or the Lord that is this.
Okay, so he's the Lord that, let me see, because he do a lot of things. He's the Lord, he's my provider. He fights my battles. I think I'm in the field.
You got the Holy Ghost, friend. I don't know what's happening right now. Jesus.
Is it more to it?
Like you weren't confident in the answer. I think it was a fluke. So let me give you a clue.
Okay.
Who is this King of glory? The Lord God, strong and mighty. The Lord God,
mighty in battle.
That's the
mighty God.
Like literally, I was like, you in the spirit, because you just sitting here naming out stuff, and you literally said like he's the Lord that's mighty in battle, ain't it? And I was like,
yeah, that's it. So the Lord mighty in battle.
So and then he is Jehovah Gabor Milkama.
It makes sense now. Got it. All right. Who is I am?
Just like we had so much fun, y'all, playing this game, you can have fun, just as much fun, with your local assembly, with your groups, with your book clubs, or however, with your parties. This is an amazing icebreaker. Even if you want to just have it for your own study time, it is called Who Is I Am. The link is going to be in my bio. And so make sure you go on over and order yours today and have fun. Now that the formalities for real are out of the way, let's go ahead and hop back into this conversation, y'all.
Let's go.
So once again, it is amazing having you here. But now that we've gotten a little bit of your heart, tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Who I am, who Torrence is. Torrence is a country boy from South Georgia that, I love the Lord. Like, I legit just love the Lord. And just my heart of worship is just, that is my main part of who I am.
Man.
I love people. I love people for real.
For real.
Now, my social media, it get a little low, but I legit love people. And I'm just a person that, I know I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm just a person that's really out here trying to live an integral life for the Lord and do right by people.
Right.
And, people that have a heart like we do, because, we always connected with our hearts. But I've said before, like, people, our hearts are too good, and, you want to cut it off and turn it off. But I realized that the way that the Lord has created me and my heart, that's not a negative.
Yeah.
We just got to understand who we give it to.
Yeah.
And so that's just a little snippet of who I am. I'm just an imperfect person serving a perfect God out here trying to do this thing right. And whatever that looks like, it changes every day. So I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm just here showing up, serving God, loving people. And just trying to, be out here in these 2023 streets and, do what our God has called me to do.
I love that. I love
So
that so,
yeah.
so much. And it was another part of you
Mm-hmm.
that has just kind of gotten introduced to
Uh-huh.
this world. What was it?
I mean, it got the word capture in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a
It,
little,
it got it
it's
is
got
it
a little click click
a
in
little
it.
click called, I think it's called what
Wait,
to,
it's
uh, to,
toe
what
capture,
Toe
toe
did.
capture
Toe
that.
captured it,
Oh
y'all. So
God.
so listen, let me go ahead and introduce. That's another part. I had to get other stuff out of the way, but this part of me is something that has been something that I've done since I was a child.
Oh,
I've always enjoyed,
I
and
love
not
that,
just taking pictures,
man.
but literally just capturing moments and making people feel good and capturing life, So I am a photographer and
Mm.
I will be launching my business on May 26th, the official launch. And my photography business is lifestyle and event photography, but I'm open to do anything else. And it is called Toe Captured It. And that is my baby. I'm out here doing it scared. So y'all book with me. Book with me. May 26th. I'm gonna give y'all my handles and everything at the end.
Mm.
Follow me, book a session. It's gonna be a good time. We just gonna have a good time. I'm gonna capture your moment. I'm gonna capture life and everything. So just book with me. Toe Captured It.
Once again, not only are y'all finna stop playing with me, y'all finna stop playing with my friends.
Period.
All 2023 long.
All 2023.
And one, I love that. I definitely want to advocate for all that you have going on. But it was something also that stuck out to me as you were talking before that, when you said that as people that, as like a people that love people,
Mm-hmm.
our hearts are often open and almost susceptible
Yeah.
for, like, disappointment, heartbreak. And as people that love people or operates heavily in love,
Right.
it's not necessarily something that we can just turn off.
Right.
So how would you like expound upon guarding your heart, like, when it comes to you loving as hard as you do?
My Lord, that is such a deep question. I'll be honest, I'm still figuring that out. But what I do know is that I had to get to a place where I didn't, even though I've had people to misuse,
Mhm.
the love that I give, the loyalty that I give. I had to really seek God to understand that the way that He created me to love is not a negative.
Mhm.
God is love, and that is
Right.
what I'm operating in. So even though we show up and we love hard, and sometimes people literally, they don't know. They
Right.
literally don't know, and they misuse it.
Yeah.
And it puts a damper, because it's like, how do I not love? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to be any other way
Jeez.
but to love. So even in having my heart misused,
Mm-hmm.
I still choose to love. Still choose to love. And that is a hard
That's
place to be
hard. That
in.
is so hard.
It is hard when you know that you want to just be this cold person. You want to just, just nope, I'm not doing that. But how do you stop it when you know this is something how He created you?
Yeah.
So I'm still working through that, and I'm just literally understanding, and I'm training my mind to understand, like, hey, it's not a negative. You keep loving. You
Yeah.
keep loving. I know people may misuse it, but you keep loving. You don't, because if I start trying to be this cold person, I'm not myself. And one thing I've always vowed to be is my authentic self.
Man.
And my authentic self, He loves. He loves hard. And although people may not see it or appreciate it, keep loving.
Yeah.
Keep doing it in spite of. God honors that. You're operating in who He is.
Yeah.
And so yeah, friend, that is that. I'm trying to we navigating this thing, but at the end of the day, I'm still choosing to love, even when it's hard.
Even when it's hard.
Yeah.
And I would say, even to piggyback on that, because of course it's like you said, it's a day-to-day thing. Like, you actively choose every single day to keep loving no matter what. And that was, I can honestly say, for me, that was hard.
Yeah.
Like, it was mad hard to see people, like, mishandle you.
Yeah.
And for you to put your heart into virtually anything and watch it fall,
Yeah.
to the ground. And for me, I think I did an episode on this in the last season, of how God was challenging me to guard my heart. And He wasn't necessarily talking about, like, cutting it off, but He was telling me, like, to, one, disassociate, like, to disassociate with what is a threat and what isn't to like his kingdom, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I had this analogy, and it was weird, but it was so profound. So like when you remember those kingdoms and stuff growing up, like in the Victorian era or something like that, and there was always this guard, or even in London, there's always this guard, and whenever it's time for the guard to go on break or is off, there is the grandiose event called the changing of the guard, where a whole nother guard comes and stands in the place and replaces the other guard. God was showing me like the palace or the kingdom was my heart, right? And he was challenging me to guard my heart, and he was telling me that there was going to be a changing of the guard, right? And so where the old guard was fatigued, probably has seen a lot, probably knows a lot about this heart of mine, and so he knows its triggers. He knows like, how annoyed, how easily annoyed I get at certain things, or how this person ruffles my feathers. The old guard has old experiences. And he told me that there's going to be a changing of that guard. And so this new guard that he was sending, it was almost equivalent to his word that says he's putting new wine. He can't put new wine into old wineskins. And so with the new heart that he was trying to give me, he was also giving me a new guard. And where my heart had been broken and disappointed by so many people, he was basically saying the new guard knows nothing of this. So it's challenging you to heal. So you can't, so your new heart can't come to this new guard with old traumas and expect the new guard to yield to that. And so he had to keep telling me like this is the changing of the guard. And the old guard could have said, yeah, I can't believe Sheila was out there doing this in the palace. I ain't like it. And the new guard is like, if it's not a threat to the kingdom, it's not a threat to me. So a lot of the small foxes, a lot of the traumas and triggers that will usually slip me up, it challenges me every single day. That's a small fox. If it's not a threat to the kingdom, it's not a threat to me.
My God.
So of course, okay, if we're gonna get transparent, of course that I sing. I sing on the worship team at our church.
Beautifully. Just throw that out there. My friend sings down.
But I entered quite a few moments or spells over the last few months of just feeling very disappointed at how much I feel like I have not accomplished yet as like a vocalist, being able to be entrusted like as a vocalist at the church. And I got real discouraged, and that became I would say a trigger of mine. And so anything like that could lead to that disappointment or resemble that disappointment, I would immediately go into this kind of shut off space, right? And it kind of deterred me from utilizing my gift to its full ability. And when the Lord basically said, I'm changing the guard, he's saying, the old things have passed away. Behold, I'm doing something new. Even at the worship night, pastor, he was talking about like, how a lot of us have been feeling an immense amount of disappointment, right? And I'm up on the stage. I'm like, yes, Lord, heal your people. Because, it's hard to realize something applies to you until later. And so I was like, yes, Lord, heal your people. Your people need your help, God. In the name. I don't know why that just turned into Southern Belle accent. But your people need you, Jesus. Help them, Lord. And I'm over here like, interceding, going for broke for God's people. And I'm sitting in the car heading back home. And I'm like, man, I was actually really disappointed with where I am after after all these years.
Yeah.
I thought I would be somewhere different. And I sat in that car and I cried out to God, and I was like, I am very disappointed right now. But that was a part of him showing me like, as I'm changing the guard, it's okay, like, to express this disappointment. But as I'm changing this guard and as I'm changing your heart, if it's not a threat to the kingdom, it's not a threat to you. So even though you're disappointed, I have you here for a reason, to do my will and to do my work. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not a threat to the kingdom, if you know good and well that my will is still going forth in your life, don't consider it a threat. It's a small fox. It's a distraction.
That is so good. That is so good, man.
Listen, if y'all don't know me by now, sometimes I go on tangents, but I really hope they help somebody out here in these streets. But Yes, and so that definitely pricked my heart a lot. Feeling like, a lot of our gifts and abilities are abused, and
Yeah,
that's kind of what pulls the underdog out of us.
yeah.
And so, what would you say is your underdog story?
My underdog story, if you know, it's so many different avenues to my underdog story.
Hmm.
Just being, I'll just use this example of me how I'm starting photography
Hmm.
now. That was something that I always had a passion to do,
Hmm.
but being told, photography and cameras, that's for girls. That's for,
Wow.
you don't see no man doing that. When you hear that said by people that you hold to a very high
Right.
standard, it will put a damper on you. And it's not just a damper that'll last, a couple of days. No, this damper lasted years.
Wow.
Mind you, I'm just now launching my business on my 33rd birthday.
Hmm.
That was something that was said to me when I was 15 years old, that this was for girls. And it immediately put a thing in me where it was just like, well, okay, I'm not a girl, but I love photography. I have a
Wow.
passion for this. I feel like this is something God called me to do at an early age.
Yeah.
But when you get to the place where you decide to move in a area where you're gonna go on for God anyway, you're gonna do it anyway despite what people say. And sometimes, we want to rush our process, but
Man.
the timing now is perfect, because who I am now, I wouldn't have been able to do this, just last year. But now God has put that passion and fire back in me to show up as the underdog
Hmm.
and still come out on top because he's the head. And it's
Yeah.
like, being an underdog is tough, because listen, the people gonna doubt you. The people gonna
Man.
doubt you. You gonna doubt your listen. You gonna doubt yourself because you feel like words and actions from people, that's who you are. But when you
Yeah.
really find out who you really are and you start operating that thing, when I tell you it is unstoppable, I'm out here about to launch this whole business,
Yeah.
terrified. But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna capture these pictures, these
Jeez.
moments, and we gonna do the doggone thing, like my pastor say. We
We
gonna
gonna
do
do
the
the
doggone
doggone
thing.
thing.
So that is just a little part of an underdog story for me. In a just to go to another part
Uh
of
huh.
being an underdog, finally finding my voice.
Yeah.
That right there alone, I would listen. This confident, bold person that y'all think I am and
Oh,
who y'all
yeah.
see
Listen,
today.
hold on, pause, friend. Because
Okay.
the way that listen, y'all don't follow him on Instagram yet, but when y'all do start following him on Instagram, my friend be out here on boats.
Listen.
He be out here in these forests. He be on these beaches.
Not for
He be out here gyrating. Got his body all out. He be getting nasty and freaky in front of folks.
and still gonna serve the Lord. But
Jesus.
see, the thing
And
is,
still gonna serve the Lord
with gladness.
with gladness
But
and confidence.
when you see that
Yep.
on social media, and I have
Yep.
had so many people, they love that the energy that I give, but hear me when I say it took a long
Yeah.
time for me to get to this place to literally show up authentically as Torrence
Yeah.
Harrell, show up regardless of how it looks.
Yeah.
It is. I posted something on Instagram a few weeks ago. Very transparent moment.
Mhm.
I cringed at the fact of, ugh, should I share this? But I knew what I heard, and I
Yeah.
decided to do it anyway. And the responses that I got in
Yeah.
my DM lets me know that, hey, you can literally show up as yourself. Show people that you don't have it all together. You
Yeah.
don't try to act like you got it all together. This is literally just a testimony of who God is in my life. Like, y'all, this confidence thing of just wanting to be on social media, posting more, letting people see, like, hey, I saw him in church the other day and he was toe up on the floor.
Yeah.
But then I also seen him on Instagram, he was dancing and he good
And
at it.
having
He
a
gonna
good
he gonna
time.
thrust a little bit.
He gonna thrust a whole lot of
But the
bit.
thing is, because a lot of
Yeah.
people, they want to get to a place to try to pretend like we're perfect. We
Yeah.
are not perfect, y'all. I am a worshiper. I love God for real.
Yes.
And I think because I do show up authentically as myself,
Mm-hmm.
it has now reached so many people, and people see it as Toe is a hero. And I'm starting to operate, like I am. I'm doing this scared too, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay to own it, and not in a cocky way. But like I tell people, y'all, it took a long time to get here.
Yeah.
It took a long time to get here. Me sitting on a couch on a podcast, talking, being transparent, telling a part of my story. Listen, when I get in this car, it's gonna be a mess. I'm gonna cry some more because I cried on my way over here. And if I cry on this
Oh,
here, I brought my rag for that purpose.
oh,
So
friend.
yeah, that's
Y'all, can y'all hear his heart or is it just me? His heart is so pure. And it's stuff like that that really gets me emotional. I'm really trying to hold it in. You see it. Give me the rag.
we'll see it. It ain't been used yet.
I'm really trying to hold it in. I really am. But I really wish y'all could see how. Well, I really hope y'all see why I love him so much, because this is my heart reincarnated, literally in another flesh. But when it comes down to his underdog story, and like, okay, I would even bring up this memory. So when this was literally maybe like a year ago. This was last year. I was it was my 26th birthday, and I had a dinner at the party, and this was supposed to be a joke. That's why it looks weird because I'm crying now. But a friend of mine, she threw this, like, gathering, intimate gathering at a restaurant, and Toe came, and of course, like, Toe was just being Toe. Toe literally didn't do nothing but show up. And because, like, it was a special event for me, they played like this really dope song, and I was just like, I like this. It makes me want to salsa a little bit, and I was gonna get up there and dance by myself. Y'all know me, I don't care. But then I was like, I don't know if that's gonna go over well, because these people gonna be watching. Let me see if I can tone it down. And all of a sudden, Toe said, "You want me to go there with you? You want me to go up there with you?" And I was like, "Friend, you gonna go up there with me?" "Yeah, I'll go up there with you." And he literally took my hand, and we went into the middle of this flow and literally started doing whatever ghetto salsa we could conjure up.
We did it.
And until this day, we are a whole year and a half later, till this day, well, almost a half, but a whole year and some change later, till this day, that has literally been a staple, like a pillar for me. And of course, you may not know this, but like, it's those moments where you show up as yourself authentically, that pulls and inspires other people to be their authentic selves. And that's part of the reason why I got so emotional, because it was that moment where I resolved in myself, if Toe could do it, like, if Toe is cool, like, if Toe don't care nothing about what these people think, I'm gonna be myself too. I'm gonna challenge myself to show up as my authentic self wherever I go, like, and do the doggone thing. And so, like, I really want to just let you know that, give you your flowers today.
Listen,
that I honor you, and to let you know that you are inspiring people that you don't even know who are watching you.
Yeah.
And so keep showing up, friend. Keep showing up. Please keep showing up.
Listen,
Here go the towel.
Listen, that
keep showing up.
Hearing that, because it's not, as you know, it's not an easy walk. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we are our biggest critics.
Yeah.
And so even showing up authentically, you still have those, like you said, like little small foxes, little distractions that get in your mind and just start making you second guess.
Yeah.
But when you literally just do it anyway, and to hear that, I'm an inspiration to people, and knowing that I feel like, okay, I'm an underdog, and just knowing where I come from, and knowing my background, and knowing what I've been through, to know that I'm actually inspiring people. That is, when I tell you I am full right now, because I don't always feel like showing up. I don't always feel like my voice matters. I don't always feel like people will listen at my story and be inspired to go forward and be who they are by me showing up as who I am. Ooh, friend. Ooh, y'all, it's heavy in here. My God.
It ain't got cooked up.
It is cooked. Listen, what we working on, the main part, or we still working on the sides? Because Jesus Christ.
Okay. So this was your underdog story. And so I want to shift gears just a little bit.
Okay.
So I think it's beautiful to hear, like, from the age of 15, now going on 33, it's taking you, like, all these years to kind of come into what God has called you to be, ultimately, especially professionally. Do you feel as though, I know your your family had an influence on you, but do you believe that, you know, your local body, your assembly, or religion has had an impact on you as well when it comes to your confidence and walking out, like, you know, in your identity for sure?
Absolutely. And I will say that. That's a good question. I will say the local assembly, previous assemblies have had a part in my confidence in a positive way
Mm-hmm.
and in a negative way. But I'm gonna speak on the positive first because I feel like, being in church, you finally get to start putting yourself out there. You join,
Yep.
different ministries and different whatever the church is offering, and I feel like that starts to, when even when you're unsure of
Mm-hmm.
who you are or what you want to be, that gives opportunity and room to discover who you are. So the church, I've always been, even when I try to run from it, every church or anything that I have ever attended, I try to, let me step in the back and just greet or something or do something. The Lord be like, hey, you finna get out here in this front and you're gonna lead. So you need to just start running and lead. And I fought that for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I fought leading for so long. And and when it goes back to it, I see now the reason that I fought leading is because I wasn't confident.
Mm.
I didn't know who I was. I didn't feel like my voice mattered.
Wow.
So now that that thing has shifted and I actually understand, like, hey, you can show up as yourself. People will still be inspired. People will still be moved. So what I thought was a negative thing, it actually turned out to be a positive thing because it shifted my whole mindset. And
Wow.
now it's like, yes, I still be terrified. I do not like public speaking. I don't like how I sound. I'm a cringe listening to this later.
Oh God.
But I understand that I still have a story to tell.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So this confident person that people see today,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this was not the person that a year ago that's like, that I can just tell people to just do it anyway, just show up, like you use the example, if I could do it,
Mm-hmm.
you could do it kind of thing. And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, I'm out here just scared, believe in God anyway. And once I get that in my mind, like, it's fine. I don't care, whatever. And it just literally just
Man.
flows. So yes, the church has definitely played a big part
Mm-hmm.
in my confidence, in a positive light.
Yeah.
Now the negative light was knowing that, I know who I am, and it's like, okay, showing up to church, which is supposed to be a hospital, a safe space,
Mm-hmm.
but when you show up sometimes and you start being who you are and people see, because everybody can't take who you are authentically,
Yeah.
because I don't know, for whatever reason, a lot of times the church nowadays wants you to show up perfect. I don't quite get that.
I wouldn't even say it's the church. I would say it's people that don't go to the
That
church
too.
that have this expectation of, oh, you go to church, like
Yeah.
you closer to God than I am. You should have it all together.
Yeah. So yeah, they don't, it's feeling like you should have it all together. And of course,
Yeah.
like you said, people. So what played a part in my confidence being taken in a negative light, with a local assembly, is when I show up letting you know, like, hey, I'm broken.
Yeah.
I'm this, I'm that, and the immediate thing is like, well, let me sit you down, or let me,
Right.
you can't be over this, or you can't lead, or you can't,
Yeah.
do this. And it's just like, all right, well, now I feel like I'm less than because I showed up letting you know, like, hey, I'm broken. I need a little work, but I still want to try to do this thing what God has called me to do. But when you get told, like,
Yeah.
until you get it together, let me
Ugh.
sit you down. And for me, it did more damage
Yeah.
than good because now I'm already struck. I was already struggling with my confidence. So now I'm telling you, I'm trying to step out and be a little more
That's so
transparent,
good.
and I do that, and then you sit me down and have me just, well, I guess my gifts and my talents and abilities, what God gave me, can't be used until I get it right. None of us will ever get it right completely. We all are striving to be better than we were yesterday.
Man.
So to be sat down, oh, it did a number on my confidence because I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
trying, and I thought I was doing a good thing to tell you, hey, this is my story. This is very vulnerable for me. This is who I am. And, I hope you don't look at me different, but I want to still serve and all of that. And it's just like, oh, yeah. But then it's the opposite.
Man.
So, yeah.
No. And I was literally going to piggyback off of that, is because that was an actual fear of mine.
Really?
That was a perpetual fear of mine. And so it kind of caused me to go into this hyper work mode, like this hyper show up perfect mode, this hyper perfectionism. It challenged me. And so I would say like my experience with church was definitely performance based,
Yeah.
very performance based because of that fear. Like if I don't show up, at least with my gifts, I ain't finna tell them nothing about my broken heart. I ain't finna
My
tell them
God.
nothing, because if I tell them that, they not gonna let me sing on Sunday. I'm not gonna do it. My perspective was always like, if I just act like everything's cool,
Yeah.
if I just, keep it inside, or granted, it's dang, how deep I want to go with this.
Let him use you, friend.
So, man, so okay, for from the age of like 15, right? I'm trying to give context to this. From the age of 15 to about maybe 24, 25, I was addicted to pornography, masturbation. And I hid that a lot, like especially in church, because of course I love to sing, and
Right.
and a lot of my outlets of like singing came through the church. And so the moment I tried to reveal my, like the moment I felt like being vulnerable, I would like just be like, because the moment they find this out, it's gonna be something that they cannot handle, and I do not feel like being. I don't feel like my value being placed, like my value as a singer being placed on this level of brokenness. And so you showing up in the way of, hey, I'm broken, I'm having a hard time, and all of a sudden they're placing value on that,
Yeah.
and saying, let's sit you down.
Yeah.
Like they're determining your value to perform based on your brokenness, and literally separating the two. And not to say that we're striving to serve, not saying that we're
Right.
striving to be seen, not saying that we're striving to work and perform, but as a man, I would even say, from what it seems like from your perspective, y'all work hard.
Yeah.
Y'all get a lot of pride from y'all's work and y'all's achievement. And so it hits different, I would assume, for y'all,
Yeah.
if you come already broken, and now you can't do you're unable to do the only other thing that is valuable for you, like that brings value to you. And so I really admire that, because that used to be a mad fear of mine. Nowadays I'm just kind of like, Lord, listen, you have my heart.
Right.
Whatever you want me to do, I don't even care if I am living a completely sanctified life, not a perfect one, just a sanctified one. And somebody, they still choose to sit me down. I'm just like, what was it? Abraham that was blameless, or Job? I'm sitting over here just like, yet though you slay me, Lord, I'll trust you.
Trust me and I.
But so I'm growing to be content with it nowadays, and I'm actually very, very happy to even come to that self realization, because I used to literally have fits in my own soul, in my own heart. Like I can't tell them what's wrong, because they gonna sit me down. But I'm like, my gift is not the only thing about me that matters.
That's so good. Yeah, that's so true.
I'm more than my gifts. So even if I don't sing another day in my life, I still am Kirsten.
That's it.
And so I love that. I love that so much. And I would even say this, because I don't even know how long we done been here, but I actually wanted to switch gears again.
Okay.
And I wanted to go back to the heart piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, we talked about how our confidence is often shot, like, based on people's perception of us. And even more so, like, when you said that your family basically said if you decided to do toe captured it at that young age, and building on that, that was for girls.
Right.
And how it really kind of muddied the image, or the perspective of you growing in your gifting, in your ability. Now I kind of want to talk a little bit more about the other relationships in your life that kind of had those voices that kind of shaped who you are, or kind of even caused you to question who you are, like when it comes to your identity. And what really struck me earlier this week was narcissism.
Yeah.
And how those relationships could really have, and that was like a really hard turn, but we just go make it work. But it really was like a hard conversation, honestly, that I wanted to bring to light today, because I know we had a housewarming about a month or two ago, and that was part of the conversation that we had, because we both have had similar conversations relationally, about dealing with narcissistic personalities or people who exemplify narcissistic tendencies. And would you say dealing with those personalities or that personality also caused you to kind of question your confidence or question your
Absolutely.
identity?
Absolutely. You know, and it goes back to how I'm wired and how I'm built to love. And so when you're still trying to navigate through that and you know love anyway, but then you have you know people in your life that you're trying to give all of this love to, and you know you think that they're receiving it well, but then they leave you broken and they make you out to be you know the victim, and you know this person that you're not. It definitely makes you question like, well, what did I do wrong? Or maybe if I change this or if I do that. And it literally like that is something that played heavily on my mind. I had never got to a place where I just literally questioned like I'm a terrible person. And when I thought about it, I'm like, the stuff that I'm doing is not bad. So why am I questioning myself like I'm a bad person when really it was just like I was being, you know, gaslit and stuff like that. So
Say that again.
being gaslit.
No, you said the stuff that I was doing wasn't bad,
It wasn't bad.
but for some reason I allowed others to make me feel bad.
Make me feel bad for doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like and that alone, I'll be honest, like I went through a period at one point where it was just like I literally was questioning just like who am I? What am I doing? Am I this horrible person? Why can't I, you know, feeling unloved and feeling like, you know, you don't matter and stuff like that. You know, you have someone telling you one thing, but the actions are showing different. And it's just like, well, maybe I should just still try and stuff like that. And when I tell you, that thing did more damage than anything. But of course, it all turned around to work for my good. But during the time, listen, I didn't want to show up. I literally couldn't focus. And mind you, the Lord has been blessing and causing me to work and do so much many things. I couldn't even enjoy the fulfillment of those things that I've prayed for.
Wow.
Because I've had someone make me question who I am. Is my heart tainted? And all of this stuff. So I had someone make me question that. And I was just sitting up here letting my business passed me by, my upcoming graduate, everything just passed me by, and I could not enjoy it because I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that I'm a good person. I love this person. You know, I want to give my all to this person. This person say they want to receive it, but the actions say different, and this person just decides, well, that's fine. I'm gonna just drop it. You know, just drop it. You'll be fine. You'll figure it out. And you just left with that. This person that loves hard, that has, you know, tried to be what you want him to be and everything. And you just drop it. But in hindsight, you tell them, but you're amazing. You're this, but just not enough for me. Do you imagine the pain of someone that loves hard like I do? Just like, oh, well, here's my broken pieces, which ultimately it turned me back to God. And it's just like, okay, Lord, here I am. You know what I'm saying? Broken yet again. I need to give you these broken pieces to mend it, to get me back. And you know, and of course he's such a gentle God. He definitely done that. But that period alone, it was very tough. It was very tough. And that was one of the first times I ever had to deal with it. You know, and I was talking to my therapist about it, and even that, being in therapy, I'm just like, this is getting redundant. It is getting repetitive. I'm tired of talking about it. I should be over this by now. I should, you know, I shouldn't be grieving. If somebody don't want you, just, you know, that's what I tried to tell myself. But it wasn't until I allowed myself to feel how I feel. You're hurt. You're broken.
Wow.
You gave your all to someone that did not want it. That's okay. And the fact that I got to that place where I no longer made myself be okay, that's when I began to heal. That's when my heart began to come to grips with who I had forgot who I was. then it started coming back to like, hey, that wasn't a bad thing. You was just giving it to someone that didn't deserve it, and that is okay. And when I start having those hard conversations with myself, that is when I truly began to start feeling like myself again. But it definitely took some soul searching. It took some work. It took some therapy. A lot of it. I go every 2 weeks. I'm an advocate for therapy. It has changed my life.
Get on somebody's couch.
Listen, get on that couch, y'all, and cry.
And
Let it
cry.
out. And don't try to go in there trying to make like you got it all together. Go in there and
Please.
let it out. You need that. And I can honestly say therapy really helped me navigate that season of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Had I not had my soul anchored in Jesus for one,
Mm-hmm.
but also having someone on this side in that profession that operates me being able to express what I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
and give me tools and resources to help navigate what I'm feeling. Because you could get to a place sometimes you don't even know what to feel no more. You're just crying. You're
Yes.
depressed. You're toe up. You don't even know what to
Numb.
feel.
Yeah.
You still got to show up. Still got to show up to work. You still got to show up for people. You still got to operate in your gifts and everything. And it's just like,
Right.
you ready to get back to your car so you could cry.
Right.
Trust me. And I say that because
Jeez.
I'm that person. I have been that person where I'm showing up as strong. And when I get to that car, it has been time. I almost broke down one time in Publix, y'all. In the grocery store. Now, in that season, buying groceries, and the girl was talking to me as I was checking out, and she was just holding conversation. And in my mind, I'm like, girl, can you please hurry up? I am literally about to break down right now. And that was the first time ever where I literally left that store and was power walking to my car and literally got in my car and just broke down completely and could not tell you what I was feeling. I just knew I had to release. And when I realized what it was grief.
Yeah.
It was grief. I was
Jeez.
grieving the loss of people, the loss of relationship, and just crying and going through that, y'all. Oh, y'all, it was rough. But you see me today, and I'm here, and I think what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
still have to be mindful of knowing what to do and not put yourself in certain
Yeah.
situations because that thing can open back up now. Listen,
Careful.
but you definitely have to be careful. But I can honestly say that I'm glad that I stewarded that season as well as I did.
Yeah.
Because even though I felt like I was like, this is just a mess, it's about to go on forever and all of that. The fact that I kept showing up, I kept telling God I'm broken. I kept saying I don't have it all together. I'm mad. I'm upset.
Right.
That is when I was able to get the revelation of like, you're gonna feel that and it is okay.
Jeez.
But I am here to mend your broken heart. I'm near to the brokenhearted. And when I kept repeating it, I'm like, he is near to the brokenhearted. Even y'all, I didn't feel him. I couldn't trace him. I couldn't do none of that.
So this is so good.
But I literally kept saying he's near to the brokenhearted. Even when I didn't believe it for myself, I still chose to say it anyway. And that is the reason why I was able to navigate such a tough season of dealing with people with narcissistic traits. If that answers your question. I know I kind of took it that friend, but yeah.
No, because dang it. The way that you literally was able to articulate and give language to this entire season of your life, I genuinely believe that not only did it give me clarity for my, narcissism or narcissistic my experience with narcissism, but I feel like you did it with such a grace that was able to communicate it to anybody else that may not have language for the season they may be in, if they are dealing with anyone that's taken advantage of their kindness or has dropped them emotionally or has only sought them out for transactional purposes. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like you gave them such key language and tools for how they can navigate their season through your experience. And I want to specifically honor this moment. That's why I took a long pause because I wanted this to sink in.
Yeah.
Because I was finna tell mine, but I'm like, nope, I think you got it. I think you had it. And I would honestly just say that remain encouraged. Not you. I know, the Lord got you. But I would also say this to you, but just to remain encouraged that even though they questioned your integrity and they questioned your abilities and they questioned, like, your authenticity, they questioned your character, dealing with, like, people that are narcissistic or have narcissistic tendencies, you don't have to believe the lie that they try to tell you. You do not have to believe the lie that they tried to tell you. And the only reason I say that is because with my experience, and we talked about it briefly. There was a person that I literally, I really wanted the friendship to work, and it became very hard. And I remember talking to God, like, God, I don't know why this is so hard. And I don't feel like it has to be this hard. But it seemed like no matter what I did or how good I did, it always led to something that was negative, or always led to something that somehow said, you're a bad person, Kirsten. You had a, like, I had pure intentions, pure hearts, but somehow Kirsten was always the bad guy, right? And so even with this topic being brought to light earlier this week, I even had to put myself in the, well, I guess I'll call it the center seat, to say, God, have I been exemplifying some narcissistic tendencies? Like, have I been the narcissist in my relationships? And I don't. And the crazy part is, the beauty, I think I also wanted to tap into, was the beauty of, part of the reason that not necessarily proves that you're not a narcissist, but the beauty was the self-awareness, doing the self-evaluation. Just like when that person questioned your character, you was just like, okay, hold up, let me take a step back. Am I doing this out of ill intent? Like, am I being a bad person right now? Like, do I believe that what I'm doing is not helping anyone, or helping this am I the toxic one? And so I had to take a step back and take a moment of self-awareness, even earlier this week, where I was like, God, you know me. You know my heart, and I would literally lay down my life for you or for anyone else. Am I being a narcissist? Am I acting up? And if I am, please, like, tell me how I can navigate, tell me how I can go into a place of loving people the right way. And I feel like in that moment, not only did he offer comfort, but he offered me also, like, because at the time I was going through YouTube. I was going to through YouTube, kind of like studying narcissistic, like, tendencies, studying what makes a narcissist who they are. And when I came across a lot of those traits, I was like, was I acting like this early this week? Like, so that's what caused me to question it. And so I felt the need to gain more clarity. And that's when I came across, like, an actual licensed, professional therapist, get on somebody's couch.
Listen, please.
But a psychologist that literally broke down all of the conglomerates, or, well, that's a word. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
The whole conglomerate of traits that makes a person a narcissist, or a narcissistic tendency. Or, narcissistic behaviors.
Yeah.
And that gave me comfort. But I think it is something to challenge us all to do, is to ask ourselves the question, because we want so badly, and that's, thank you, Holy Ghost, we want so badly to make everybody else the accuser, make everybody else the bad guy. But what takes real confidence and real courage is sitting in the center seat and saying, did I do something wrong?
Listen.
Was it me, Lord? And I honestly, if we take, there's a lot, it's so much to take away from this. But if you want anything to take away from this, take a moment today to sit in the center seat and ask yourself, could I have done better? I don't want to go too deep into it, but I was even a part of a relationship where I was the narcissist.
Yeah.
I was 19. I was 18, 19 years old, a spoiled brat. And I thought everything had to go my way.
Yeah.
And ever since I broke up, well, me and the guy, ever since we had broken up and I have been single, I told the audience I've been single for going on 7 years now. Have not been in a relationship. I have been solely focused on, like, God grooming and fashioning my character and getting me back into an integrous space. And so I've been very sacred over my character, because I'm like, that's why I get real personal when somebody tries to question it, because I'm like, you don't know the time that I put in every single day to make sure that I am always in right standing with myself and with God. And so part of that came about because after the relationship, it caused me to get into a space to ask the very critical question: what did I do wrong? And most narcissists will never ask themselves that question and actually make active steps to move forward and progress. So this isn't no reprimand, friend. This is an honest assessment. Take an honest assessment of yourself, for sure, and ask yourself, what could I have done better in this relationship? What could I have done or done better in my work environment? How could I have better phrased that at my boss? How could I have spoken to my mother better? How could I have spoken to myself better? How could I have treated myself better in that moment? Take an evaluation. And like I said, we're not here judging you. We just figuring it out.
Listen, we figuring this thing out together, y'all.
We are figuring it out day by day. But what we are learning from this is that we are only in charge of ourselves. So this is what we're asking you to do, to take charge of yourself and ask yourself the necessary questions. If you're not feeling confident, what robbed it? And if you are feeling overly confident, assess yourself and evaluate. Do I need to pull back a little bit? Where is this confidence rooted? Is it rooted in Jesus or no? So oh God, I ain't got no watch on, but this has been a phenomenal time. So
absolutely,
I told y'all, listen, we can literally sit here
and go, y'all, like literally go and just pour out, and it's always, always leave inspired, always leave full, just always leaving with clarity, just because, I will say, even being in this space, y'all find some community that you can share vulnerable moments with, you can walk through life with, and just people that get it, that's not here to judge or make you feel bad for going through. Y'all, we all a mess out here, and y'all see us on this couch and probably think like, oh, y'all see the lights, the background, and we got it together, y'all, but we really figuring this thing out. Like, we really still figuring this thing out. But the thing is, we're choosing to do it anyway. Y'all, it don't always be easy. It does not always be good days, y'all. We have bad days, y'all. I struggle a lot. But one thing I've learned, the same way I can talk about my struggles, I can talk about my wins as well. And me sitting on this couch, it's a win, y'all. It's a win. So please take it from this little underdog country boy from South Georgia that didn't come from nothing, that's really out here now, that's just walking in. And mind you, now, I'm not just walking in. Don't take it as being cocky, y'all.
Yes.
When y'all see me, and when you see me dancing, and you see me smiling, and you see me, whatever you see me, just know it took a lot for me to get to that place. And if God can take me, y'all, this little segment ain't long enough. If I was to give y'all the real listen, and you see like, dang, and he was still able to show up, he was still able to do what God called him to do, baby, you could do it. I promise you could do it. So whatever you feel that you're not qualified to do, y'all do it anyway. I'm launching this whole business.
A whole business.
And do I know what I'm doing all the way? Absolutely not. But I know what I heard God told me to do, and guess what I'm gonna do? Do it.
Period.
And he gonna provide the rest. It ain't for me. It's for me to be the vessel to just start it. Absolutely. So y'all, don't think we perfect. We all in here together, and get on somebody's couch, y'all. Talk through that stuff. It's too heavy to carry it by yourself.
I co-sign. # get on somebody's couch. In Jesus' name. Okay. All right, listen, I love y'all. This has been a phenomenal time, and I am going to send it off with like a little question. I think it's a bit more of a mind bender, just to get the wheels turning, because of course our God is able to do exceeding and abundant above all that we can ask, think, or imagine. But I thought this was a great question to ask to kind of get the imagination stirring. So I'll ask you this.
Okay.
If you had all the money in the world, what would you see yourself doing?
What I would see myself doing is this is gonna sound probably real churchy, and that's okay. Um, because money was never the option for me, never the goal. I always, even with the little that I have, I love to help people. It has been a lot that has been done behind the scenes. I literally just want to make sure people are good, make sure people have a space, make sure people are seen, heard, valued. So if I had the money, I would still be doing what I'm doing now. Now, of course, now don't get me wrong. Now I'm gonna go sit on an island and get some fruit fed to me now, and
Get some fruit fed to
listen,
you.
I wouldn't even been here today because I would have been on an island had money not been the issue. But
I'm
um,
still stuck on the fruit getting fed
get
to
fed
you.
to me because I mean
Need
I
the
got
grapes dropping in your
drop
mouth.
listen and give me a little pineapple, sprinkle a little coconut juice on there. But
You fancy for real. I ain't never heard that.
but that's what literally what I would be doing is literally what I'm doing now, even though money is it is, I won't say it's an issue, but you got to make sure you're keeping up with your finances. But if finances wasn't an issue, I would literally be still showing up, being integral, helping people.
That's so good.
It would be such a blessing because I want to do that anyway.
Yes.
It'll be a lot of stuff. Trust me, I always don't mind the background. I don't mind the background. So if money was no problem, it'll be a lot being done, a lot of souls being saved, stuff just being brought back to life that was once dead. So yeah, friend, like I said, now of course now I'm gonna take a trip now. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna live a life of luxury. But
In the name of Jesus.
That's what I would be doing because money was never the goal for me. My goal was to show up authentically, help people, love people like God loves me. So it's like, won't much change, but the fact that my pocket's unlimited, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still gonna be the same toe trying to help people, still trying to make sure people, have a space.
I love that so much.
So yeah.
Well, y'all, this has been Torrence Harrell. Tell them where they can find you.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram. My personal page is toe_. And in my bio, you'll see my photography page, which is Toe Captured It, which will be launching again on May 26th, which is also my birthday. Y'all, it'll make my birthday if y'all follow me, book a session, and we're gonna have a good time. So follow me. And I'm Torrence Harrell on Facebook. I don't really be on there as much, but I'm about to get back in there too. But follow me on all of those. Toe Captured It, and Torrence Harrell on Facebook.
And y'all already know what it is and what it ain't. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow my friends as we go on this journey of rebuilding our confidence, not just in our abilities, but based on the foundation of Christ. So if y'all want to follow your girl, you can follow me at kirsten.s.lewis on Instagram. You can follow us at Stop Playing With Me Podcast on Instagram, not Facebook, Jesus, YouTube. And honey, listen, if you want to follow the Holy Ghost, you can follow him at The Cross. All right, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next time in the next episode. Peace.